talking about growing sales and revenue and accelerating sales. So if you're here, do let me know in the chat, and we will get going in just a second. I'm just going to put my screen up and get my screen active so you can see me, and then we'll get all of this working. Here we are. So if you're here and you can see us, we're going to be doing some training today, some fundamental principles if you really want to grow your business and expand your revenue. So if you're here, please let us know in the chat, and we'll kickstart. This is going to be a long session. Well, I say long. It's going to be about an hour session. So if you're ready for this, please let us know in the chat. And we'll crack on in a few minutes. We'll just let everybody join in. I'm just checking on the live session that we're here and everybody can see us. Hi, Dean Whitby. Hopefully you can all see us. So we're going to be cracking on with some of the fundamental principles that may seem counterintuitive when you're selling, but they actually work really, really well. And I've kind of learned these because I'm the reluctant seller. So I have a really thin skin and I'm terrified of cold calling. I'm a wimp when it comes to cold calling. But I want to share with you really how I figured out a way to avoid the cold call. Doesn't mean there's no calls, but there's no cold call. Hi from Edinburgh. Hi, Dean Whitby. So thanks for watching. I will do a Q&A session at the end. And if you want to know any more, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, personal profile as well. So if you're there, come find me as well. But yeah, I've struggled with sales because I didn't like picking up the phone and making cold calls. So I had to find a way to do this. And I found a way to do it through social media and digital platforms. Still ends up with a call, but it's a much warmer call, a more conversational call, more like chatting with somebody you already know. And that's what I'm going to show you today. I'll kind of give you an eye opener into today. It's a much bigger topic than probably we can do in an hour, but I don't want to put you to sleep on it for ages. So let's just crack on. And hi, Sam from Plymouth. So Maverick, just a quick intro if you don't know who we are. We're on a mission to help 1 million businesses grow their revenue, margin and profit. That's our mission as a business, to help other businesses. I firmly believe that actually coming from a working class family, I see commerce, business as a real way that people can improve their lives. So it's something that is important to me, kind of my little mission. So that's what we're doing. We've helped about 150,000 businesses over the last few years. So we're a long way to go on this mission, but today is another step in the right direction. So I've got a few key things I want to take you on, and some of it you may know, some of it you may not know, but it's the way I'm going to put it together that will be helpful to you. Not necessarily every little item, but there'll be stuff, as I call, eat the meat and leave the bones. So take the bits that help you. And if there's stuff you already know, awesome, keep going. So let's just get to the basics. Why do people choose to buy from you? So I'm just going to kind of reiterate this. It might seem like I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but it's really, really important. Number one, why should a client choose to work with you? So first of all, for them to choose you, they have to know who you are, know what you're about, know what you do, and kind of have a basic understanding of who you are and what you offer. You'd be surprised how many businesses struggle with just that thing. So they don't do that. They don't clearly communicate in any way, shape or form who they are, what they do, who they do it for, and the value. That is a big chunk of the battle. Hi, Shola. Hi, Sandeep. So that's a big chunk of the battle. Awareness of who you are and that you exist and the value you can deliver for businesses like your clients. The second one is belief. Now, belief is not a very common business word, but it is really important. They have to believe that you know what you're doing. They have to believe that you can do what you say you can do. And they have to believe that you can do what you say you can do for them. In order for a customer to choose you, they're the reasons. And then finally, they have to believe that what you've got to offer is the best solution for their business and their challenge. And then on the relationship side, they have to feel like they could work with you. They have to feel like they get on. There's some kind of connection and rapport and relationship. These three things, ABR, are the three things that you have to have in order to make a sale. If they don't get that, it's over. It's never going to happen. And so what happens is we go through processes and we go through things trying to generate sales, and we quickly lose sight of these principles. So just note down ABR. ABR. Make sure you've got that noted down, because all the way through today's presentation, that will be important, because I'm going to ask you where this should be done, where these stages should be done. So that's why people buy. That's how they choose you, having those things, ABR. But there's a journey people take to become a customer. There's a journey people take to decide to buy a product. And it's simple. It's really simple, very simple process. They have a problem. They want an outcome. They make a choice to change. In other words, they want to make a choice to pursue the outcome. And then they look to find the tool or solution that will actually get them there. That's the key 4 stages. They're very, very simple, but there's 4 stages. They've got a problem. They want to get something else. They want to achieve something. They decide they're going to pursue achieving that goal, whether it be growing revenue, whether it be saving money, whether it be eliminating problems, whatever it is. They did make a decision that they're going to find a way to do that. Yeah. And then they go and find the answer, the way they're going to do it. So problem, the outcome, choice to change, decision to change, and then they go hunting for the answer, the solution, the provision, the supplier, whatever it is. Now that's the journey. So we got ABR and the journey. And we're going to compare those two together once I show you some things that are going wrong in sales and some things that you can do that's right, that will actually accelerate and compound all of your efforts to sell. So people buy when they believe, ABR coming in, they solve a problem. So people buy something when they believe they can solve their problem. It's that simple. If they don't believe they can solve their problem, it's not going to happen. So very, very fundamental. So how do we get more clients? Yeah, so I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can get clients. One way you'll know, and this is all strategy here. We have other programs and other courses that you can join where we'll show you how to implement this, but this is really about changing your thinking today. So how do we get more clients? Well, the first way is to find them. Yeah. The second way is to create them. And I'm going to show you or give you an inside track into both today. So the first one, finding clients. You'll be familiar with this one. Everybody is. We see it every single day. People connecting on LinkedIn, sending messages, cold calling. They're hunting for clients, finding clients. Yeah. They're going around looking to find them. Everybody's doing it. Yeah, I get them every day. You get them every day. The vast majority of them, you ignore them because they're irrelevant. They haven't caught your eye. They're not interesting. It doesn't matter to you. It's not important. So everybody's trying to find clients. And you may have seen this graph before, but I want to kind of now start to overlay the journey on top of this. And so basically, whenever you're selling, wherever you are, it applies to every industry, just a fraction of people are actually looking for a provider, a service, a product right now. 3%, tiny amount of people. 7% are considering change. They're in that decision to change. They've not found a solution yet. They're not sure on it all, but they're in the market. Yeah. Where 3% are kind of seriously looking. They're the people going, we we're looking for a marketing agency, we're looking for this, and they're starting to Google for it, they're starting to do all of that stuff. They're the people looking for a solution, a supplier, a service provider. 7% are just in the market. 30% are aware that they can have a different outcome, but haven't made any decision to change things yet. 30% of the market are actually, they've got a problem, they're aware of their problem, but they're living with it. Yeah. And then 30% of the market, totally unaware. They don't realize they even have a problem in their business. They're just trundling on, walking with a limp, so to speak. That's what they're doing. Everyone, literally, the majority of the market are focused on those top two tiers, finding the people who want what they've got right now. And do you know how I know that everybody's focused on that? Look at your LinkedIn messages. Look at your cold calls. Look at your emails that come into you. Everybody's saying, hey, do you need this? Are you looking for this? We've helped people do something with this. Yeah, everybody's doing it. They're talking to the people who are already aware of what they want to achieve and the solution that they've discovered, the solution that they want to achieve. That's what they're trying to do. So they're talking to people who've gone, actually, we know that our website's poor performing, so we need to get some SEO. We know we've got an SEO problem on our website, but we haven't really done anything about it. They're the 7%. The people below that are, we really need to improve our website. It's not performing. It's not getting the results. The people below are yeah, website doesn't work. And so the closer they get to the top of this, pyramid, effectively, the higher up they get, the more they know what they want, the more they know the solution they want. And everybody's going there. So let me give you an example. Somebody's down at the bottom on the 30% that they're problem aware. And the problem that they have is their website visitors are low, really low. Yeah. They, at that point in the pink section, don't go, oh, we need SEO. They're going, how do we get more web traffic? So they're asking, how do we get more web traffic? The people above that are going, we need to really increase our web traffic. We want to get to 5,000 visitors, or we want more sales from our website. We want more inbound inquiries from our website. Then the people considering change are the ones that maybe we should look at SEO. Maybe SEO is the option. And then the top one is, who can we use for SEO? And so all of the market, pretty much all of the market, not all of the market, but a majority of the market are going after that top 10% and ignoring the rest, eliminating them, in fact, because the people in the bottom 90% will ignore the email that says, do you need SEO? They'll ignore the one that says, can we help you? Do you need some Facebook ads? Because they're focused on how to fix the problem, not the solution that fixes the problem. And so everybody's talking here. Now, what's the problem with everybody talking here? So this becomes a strategy. Yeah. It might have been that at some point in a business, there was a slow period. We need to get clients. So we just go find people. Hey, do you need this? Hey, do you need this? And what happens, that becomes a strategy that a business follows. It becomes a habit that a business learns. And then what happens is the whole business strategy becomes about finding the needle in the haystack, finding the person who's looking right now in amongst the mass of people who are not looking because they're blind to the problem, not aware of the problem, not aware that they can have a different outcome or solution. And they, catering just to the people who are in the market. And so the majority of your market, the majority of your customers are sat living with a limp, figuring out there must be a way to change this all by themselves. They're doing it without you. And so there were some studies done. I'll quickly go to this and then I'll move on to show you how you can switch to the other scenario. There's some studies done of how different businesses work. And this was across lots of businesses. And what they found is that the businesses that focus on short-term sales lifts, in other words, looking for the top 10%, they actually could achieve sales quicker in the short term. In the short term, focusing on the top 2 is actually very successful. However, over time, 6 months plus, that effort falls apart. It becomes more difficult to achieve, more difficult to sustain. And so what you find is that the real growth in a business, and the businesses that grow, not exponentially, but steady growth all the way up, are the ones, and the businesses that get inbound inquiries are the ones that are actually working all the way through this process, all of the way through the process. So problem number 1 with focusing on the top 10%. To hit your numbers, you have to chase active buyers. You've got to hunt them down, find them, and I'll show you another diagram in a minute that will explain this even more. Hunting active buyers is expensive because effectively what you're doing is you're spending, let's say 100 people, you've got 100 prospects on your list. You're actually trying to find the 3 in 100 that are ready to buy right now so you can get in the mix and bid for it, quote for it, pitch for it, whatever it is. So it's quite expensive in that you're doing all of this work to find 3. The same work has to carry out, but you've got to do it all to find the 3 that you can hit your quota numbers, whatever. And of course, this pursuit resets all the time, So hopefully you get the fact that whilst this is an immediate thing that businesses want to do, and it is something that works in the very short term, in the long term, it actually becomes harder and harder, and you have to keep to scale or to increase revenue over and above what your current efforts. You have to literally increase the effort. So if you want double the sales, you do double the effort. With this process, you're doing a similar effort and maybe a little bit more in the front end, but actually in the long run, it actually helps you more. So here's the other thing that happens. Let me give you this as another way of looking at it. This is the buying journey, very simplistic version, but it explains it. Depending on where the customer is in their buying journey, the more likely it will be a transactional sales process. So for an example, if say, for an example, I've got my website and it's not getting leads, and I start to see that we can get more leads, and then I decide, yeah, we're going to actually build the website. We're going to invest in the website. We're going to ramp it up to get more leads. And then I start to find the solution. At that point, that's where I'll be doing a competitive process, 3 quotes, tendering, all of those things. If we put this in a B2C context, the far right, the blue find the solution, is where people go on and Google and say plumber Plymouth. They know they need a plumber and they're looking for it. Now, you can market to those people, but it's far more transactional, far more comparative, and probably pricing wise, far more competitive. So there's a risk that your margin may be tighter down that process. The further over you get them in the problem stage, the higher the margin and the less competition you will have, because you're talking to people as they're experiencing a problem. So it's really important that you look at this and go, where do you want to meet your customers? Where do you want to meet your potential clients? Now, if you said, actually, I want to find them at the solution stage, well, that's fine, but you will have to keep doing that. You will have to keep churning and churning, hunting to find the people. What I advocate is actually talking to the whole market and bringing them on that journey with me. So I grab them by the hand and I take them on the journey. And depending on where they are already, some people will come and say, I want your help, because I will have put them through this process very quickly. And other people will take time to go through this process. So I've built myself, because I don't want to do cold calling, I've built myself a series of, a deep understanding of where my customers are, where they want to get to, and I am going to help them through various different channels, various different mediums, to take them on that journey with me. Why is that? Because as soon as they realize I can help them, as soon as they believe that they can get an outcome from working with me, it becomes a decision that they're going to make. And then the decision is, actually, do I go with Dean or not? It's not, do I go with Dean or somebody else? It's, do I go with Dean or not? And so a lot of the competition stuff falls away. Hopefully that makes sense and you're all still awake. So this is the journey that the people go to. So finding clients, you're actually looking on the right-hand side. But if we want to create clients, we have to go to the left-hand side. And so what we do is we're actually looking at the whole market, and we're actually moving people through that market with us. Yeah. So we're talking to people who don't know there's a problem. We're talking to people who've realized they've got a problem. We're talking to people who want to achieve an outcome. Yeah. And we're showing people how our program, our course, our service, our product, our whatever it is, our advice helps them achieve the outcome. So what we're doing is we're catering to the people who are looking right now, whilst also catering to the people who are not there yet. Now, I've seen people go through this process from literally from the bottom to being my customer in 3 weeks, 3 days even, probably. But I've also seen people go through this in 3 years. And so it's important that you think about this in a much bigger context. This is not my sales strategy for next week. This is my sales strategy for the next 5 years. How do we take people from where they are, unaware of a problem in their business that we know we can fix? Because I know many businesses say, the problem is what we fix for customers isn't that big of a deal, isn't that big of a problem. That's a messaging issue. That's a strategy issue that you can tweak your messaging so that it gets their attention. We cover that in a lot of our free trainings and our paid programs. But you move people through this process, and there are various different mechanisms you can use to kind of gauge where people are. In my prospect list right now, for me as Dean Business Developer, because I still practice what I teach, I have about 1,000 people in it at various different stages. Some people don't even know me yet, no awareness. Some people do. Some people get the problem and have the problem but haven't made a decision. Some people know that I can help them achieve something, but they're not ready yet. So again, these 4 stages, along with ABR, awareness, belief, and relationship, all matter. And my job is to develop awareness, belief, and relationship with people at all the different stages. Now, social media, digital channels are brilliant for that because you can do a lot of it at scale. But for an example, for a salesperson, they can do this on their social channels. Maybe they don't need 1,000 people in it. Maybe they need 100 people, because if you only want 1 client a month or 10 clients a month or 2 clients a month, that number becomes very different. But rather than just focusing on who am I going to sell to right now and what do I sell this month, you're doing that whilst also fostering and developing all of the other relationships, building awareness, belief, and relationship with other people along that process. And your content, your messaging, everything that you're doing, whether you're reaching out, whatever you're doing in terms of generating opportunities, you're doing it to move people through those stages, as well as bring people out the other side into becoming a customer. So the tools that you use are exactly the same. Yeah, they're exactly the same. Whether you're using them to get sales now or sales in the future, it's exactly the same tools. It's just the way you word things, the way you structure things, the process you take things on, and the kind of dot to dot of how you put these things together so that you take people on that journey. It's not just, oh, it's completely different gadgets. It's not, there's a shiny new tool to do. It's all, you can use this strategy on cold calls. The first call is the most difficult, but then you can use it on lots of different ways. There's lots of different ways you can do it. But the idea is you, and I call it, instead of eliminating, in other words, finding the needle in the haystack, finding the people who are ready to buy now at the cost of all the other people who are not further down in their buying journey, we incubate the people who aren't ready. We incubate them. So some people, for an example, will come to my free trainings many, many times before they become a customer. Some people will come to my free training and never buy, and that's cool. But I'm doing it to show people and take people on a journey. And I'm showing people that eliminating people is a really bad strategy. Now, people say, oh, no, we never eliminate. They go on our CRM and we schedule follow-up. Most businesses don't. Most businesses don't really follow up. They take people so far and they say, come back in a year's time. And then they come back maybe 9 months' time to try and follow up. But there's no actual effort to build a belief in your product or service, and no effort to build relationships in between those periods. There's no kind of interaction. There's no regular visibility of each other. So all of that kind of, you know, what do they call it in the old days? No, like, trust. None of that stuff's happening. And with digital platforms, you can actually do this, even though they've said we're not in a position to do something right now. Even if you know that there's a contract coming up in 12 months' time, you can be incubating that relationship, ready for that moment, getting your message in there so they start to know who you are. They remember your name. They remember the value you bring. They've heard about you. They've seen some testimonials. It takes somewhere between 7 and 15 times for a prospect to even remember your name. Remember your name. So you need to be regularly visible. I'm not saying regularly reaching out, because that could be a pain in the ass for somebody. You know, literally, I'm just following up, just following up. Actually, they're really annoying. So you need to use that I'm just following up very carefully so that you don't burn through a process too early. So instead of eliminating, we incubate. We're harvesting and we're sowing. In other words, we're collecting the people who are ready to buy right now, and we're actually sowing and investing in people so that they see the value we've got to offer for the right time. My little name, my little way of saying it, instead of being in the right time at the right place, because that's what effectively the short-term strategy is, go find the people who are ready to buy right now and let's see if we can get them to do business with us. Instead of doing that, what you're doing is saying, I'm going to be in the right place for the right time. Now, people may be going, well, how does this work? Well, I do this system myself. I work it every single day. And every single day we've got calls. In fact, this week I'm going to do a little challenge whereby I'm literally going to take somebody's LinkedIn account and say, how many calls do you want? And I will challenge myself to get them calls with buyers on their own LinkedIn, and I'll do it for them so that they can see how straightforward it is when you understand the journey people go through. Pain, they want an outcome, they need to make a decision to change, in other words, to go from A to B, and then the solution, in other words, that they believe in your solution. Because if they don't believe in your solution, that's when you've educated them and they move on. So it's important that you build ABR before you actually take them all the way through that process. So we get them here. We go here. Yeah. And instead of just taking them on the journey like this, what we do is we talk about it here. So these are our two things that are our message points. Instead of talking about our gadget and how wonderful it is, we talk about the problem and we talk about the outcome. We talk about the challenges and the opportunities. We talk about the frustrations and we talk about the successes. We talk about the symptoms that might be happening in their business. And then we talk about the things that could happen as a result of getting rid of them. And so we take them on their journey. We take them by the hand and take them on their journey. But the difference is, as soon as those people believe that understand their problem, you understand their problem, and you can help them get to an outcome, and they believe you, they make a decision to act, and they believe in your solution, and they buy. it's a closed system. Yeah, because they and HubSpot published the stats. It's shocking stats, really, when you think about it. But 80% of B2B buyers buy from the first person they spoke to. So the first person generally sets the comparison for everybody else. And so if you understand their problem and you understand what they want to achieve and you show them that, and they believe in you, they will buy from you. And if they go out to the wider market to look, they will compare people to you. And the vast majority of people are talking about their gadget and all of the things that it does, and the buttons and the bells and the whistles. And the customer comes away and goes, I like their product, but it doesn't seem to, they don't seem to understand us as well as Dean does or as well as you do. And so we become the benchmark for them to compare if they look elsewhere. And we know HubSpot's done the research on it. 80% of B2B buyers buy from the first person they spoke to. So let me ask you, is it easier, and just think about this to yourself, is it easier to talk to and to engage the people, to be the first person to speak to the person if you start targeting them before they need your product? Of course it is. Absolutely no brainer. If you educate them on how they can get to a solution, they will be in your debt. They will see the value of you. They will have an experience of interacting with you, whether that be you do webinars, whether that be do outreach, value emails, lead magnets, whatever you're doing to warm people to your business, you've got to demonstrate that they know who you are, they believe in your solution and all of those things, and they've got the relationship with you that they feel there's a fit. And that's really fundamental. So how do we get more sales? And I'll just give you a quick example of how this can work, and then we'll do some Q&A. I've gone through this really fast, actually. I think it's because I'm doing it on YouTube. Normally when we do it on Hangouts, there's more interactivity. So the gap is your most powerful tool. I say this in all of my sessions because this is really, we nickname this the MAVERRIK method, because it's such an easy way to, once you get your head around it and you get a deep understanding of your customer, it actually makes it really easy to communicate with your customer. The hard bit is getting the understanding of the pain, where people are and what they want to achieve, and all of the different facets of how that expresses itself. But fundamentally, this gap is your most powerful tool in selling. So it's reminding people of where they are, the pain points they've got, the symptoms, the consequences, the challenges, the frustrations, and the outcomes that they want to achieve. And that method of reminding people of the gap will show people that you understand them. It will show people that you are relevant to them. It will show people that you really understand your product or service well. And actually, when you think about people at this stage, let me just flick back to the problem stage. At this point in their buying process, in their journey to a sale, they don't know what product or service can help them. They don't know whether it's SEO or Facebook or cold calling or direct mail, or they don't know. They just want a result. And so if we talk to them about product at that stage, a service, they won't get the relevance. So here's the smart thing. If people at the problem stage get messages about, hey, do you need SEO? They'll ignore it. They'll completely ignore it. If people get a cold call about, do you need Facebook ads? They'll say, no, thanks. But when you talk about the problem and the outcome, and then you show them, and I'll come to this in a minute about conversation versus consideration. When you show them how your product, service, how you as a business, as a company, help people fix this problem, then they get why they need SEO or Facebook ads or whatever it is you're selling. So actually at the problem and outcome stage, you're not competing against your direct competitor. You could be competing against lots of different things. The competition is so vague and broad that actually you would stick out because you understand the problem better. You know, if say I'm a business and I want to grow my business, or I want to make more money, I could be looking at cost reductions. I could be looking at salespeople. I could be looking at marketing services. I could be looking at buying another business. There's lots of different ways I could be trying to solve the problem that actually down here you're going to provide me with Facebook ads for, or you're going to provide me with a copywriting service for. And so that's what I think is really important about this. Actually, your competition, the further you are to the customer's problem, the less you are from your conventional competition. You're further away from them completely. And your messaging is miles different. You show people how you can make the difference. They tell you about the features and the bells and whistles. Now, yes, the bells and whistles are important, but they're not the thing that convince people that you're the answer. They're the reassurance that it does the things that it says it does. So you need to provide value, talk to their pain, so your prospect can see for themselves. You can't make people believe you. You can give people case studies and all this kind of marketing bump, but people won't believe your propaganda. They'll pay attention to it if it's relevant to them, but they won't believe it. They have to absorb that in. And that's a time thing. That's a process thing that people absorb and believe you. That's by getting them to see you on a regular basis actually helps. Just literally being visible to your prospects on a regular basis builds belief. Really simple. That's why, and I don't want to get too political or too topically relevant. That's why some people in election campaigns will reiterate one message over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And they just keep talking about that one message because people absorb it, remember it. They want people to remember one thing. What's the one thing you want people to know about you and your business? You solve X problem for X people. That's it. You want that message to land so many times so that people understand it and go, yeah. Just repetition is your tool. Repetition is your tool. If I went on the news, and said, went on the media and said over and over and over again on a regular basis, not in one hit, but over a period of time, that, I don't know, I'm the richest man in the world. I'm the richest man in the world. And I just said that many, 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 many times. And then there was a national exam on who is the richest man in the world. Guess what? Despite no evidence, I'm not saying this is ethical. I'm just giving you an example of how this works. Despite no evidence, despite no substance, some people would write down Dean Seddon is the richest man in the world. Because when you repeat something enough times, people take it, absorb it, think it, and believe it. And so you've got to get your message out there. We call it taste. I don't have time to go into it in this session, but taste is a way of using content to help build belief that you are the answer. Awareness and belief. It will help you build it. Awareness and belief. So I'm going to wrap up with this and then we'll do some Q&A. If you've got any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll answer your questions as we go. But here's the wrong way. Tell people what you do and try and start a conversation. It doesn't appeal to the pain. It's focused on the purchasing stage. It's very transactional. It's very pushy, buy my stuff. So if they don't get it, they dismiss it. And if they dismiss it, they might ignore you. And actually ignoring you is better than telling you no thanks, because if they tell you no thanks, it's very hard to go back and try and turn that round. So if you're following this strategy, you will be on the first way of finding clients. If you're on the second side, you're starting a conversation and you move it to talking about what you do. It's relationship centric. It's progress based on bite, in other words, interest. And it's problem focused, and it's more informal. It's more casual and relaxed. It's actually highly organized by you, but the feeling to the prospect is it's more relaxed and more engaging and more at their pace. So business fives has asked a question: what if you have multiple messages, reasons for customers to engage? Should we have a more succinct, singular message to promote? So business fives, I don't know whose name it is, so forgive me for not asking, addressing you by name, but I've also got Adeshola to answer as well, and I'll do that. So one of the things we talk about is a very simple strategy that we use, which is focus on one really strong pain point and maybe have some supplementary backup messages. We actually have a worksheet for this we put in our programs, which helps you understand the key messages, the key pain points, and the symptoms, because sometimes people want to treat the symptoms. Let me give you an example. If you've got a runny nose, right, the immediate symptom, the immediate treatment for that is to get a tissue. Yeah. Now, if you're telling people, oh, you should go to the doctors for a runny nose, the majority of people will dismiss you and want a tissue. And so you might have to talk about the tissue and the runny nose before they actually understand the real problem is actually you've got a cold. Yeah, you've got a flu. So that's the example. So sometimes the problem they actually have, they don't see, but they're trying to treat the symptom of the main problem. So low sales, let's get better salespeople. Well, actually, it might be your sales strategy is wrong, but they might be treating it by trying to get recruit more salespeople or get better salespeople. So that's really, really important. Adeshola, one of the things you say, how do you be visible without being a nuisance? Is there a point where incubation takes too long? No, there is not a point where incubation takes too long, because the idea being is if I use LinkedIn for an example, but I teach this on Facebook, I teach this on email, I teach this on all different platforms, and the accelerator covers all of them in one. But I'm not looking to pester people. What I'm looking is to make sure people know we exist and seen us for a while, so that they have a perception that they know who we are. You can actually build digital relationships for some very simple actions. And so what I'm doing with this process is saying, right, I've got 1,000 people in my prospect list. The first order of business is they've got to all be aware of me. So what's great for that? Content on social media, not company pages. They're a waste of time for this stuff. Profiles. I'm putting content out that matters to my audience, which are people who have this problem. And so I've connected and built connections with those people. I'm not dropping them messages saying buy my stuff. I'm literally talking about the challenges they face. So I step out of my industry and step into their world. And so that's how you do it. Very, very simple. So it's about having enough people around you, because you don't know where people are in their buying journey. So I've got some people who literally go, I've just connected with you, seen what you've done, and they're a customer within days. I've got some people it takes a few months, and I've got some people it's taken years, but I'm working on them all at once at various different stages. And I have mechanisms like lead magnets and different things that I put out that tell me where people are. So some of you on this webinar are my connections on LinkedIn, not all of you. Some of you will be. I'll connect with you. And if you want to connect with me, it's fine. Do lots of free stuff. But some of my webinars are actually out here to really understand where my audience is at and help me identify audiences with a particular problem. Some of my lead magnets help me understand where audiences are at and where they are up to in their process. Just by the language you can do this, just by the message that you write. John, nice to meet you anyway. How to start and continue a private message on LinkedIn. I can try personal interest or some clues. Is it still sort of cold message? Joseph, no. What people are doing on LinkedIn is literally trying to introduce themselves in a very formal style. The key to LinkedIn, the key to any of this process in selling, is to get a two-way conversation. Now, if you're Joseph, I don't know how you're doing, what your process is, so I'm just speaking from my perspective here, so don't take offense if I'm saying you're doing something and you're not. What most people do is they do an introduction email saying what they do and ask, is it worth a call? Totally wrong way of doing it. What you should be doing is trying to create conversation before consideration. So what does that mean? Before they know what you do, because I'm assuming you're connecting with people and people are connecting with people deliberately. We're not just connecting with anybody in the hopes we can sell. We're actually deliberately connecting with the people that we think we could do business with. They have a problem we can solve. My first job is to build a conversation with them. So in our programs, we teach about the 7 steps of building conversation and interaction so that the people will give you a hearing, a fair hearing. They see your content, they see your interaction with them before you ever try and sell them anything. And then we actually go to create the conversation. And the conversation goes a bit like, they say a line of text, you say a line of text. They say a line of text, you say a line of text. And 2 days ago, I think it was, or no, last Tuesday, I actually did a workshop on this, a free workshop, where I showed people how I'd got these conversations going. It's very, very simple. If you want to know how to do it, you can join our paid program on the 20th, Win Your Next Client on LinkedIn, which is all about creating conversations. Or you can join our accelerator program, which is kind of a big 90-day program where I'm kind of whipping your butt to get it done, as well as all the other channels. So what do I define as a lead magnet? So a lead magnet, lots of people churn these out, but they don't really know why they're doing it. It's to grow their list, to grow their email list. And the problem with growing your email list is you want people on it who potentially could buy. So what I do, a lead magnet is basically a piece of value, not too heavy duty, but a piece of value that you share with people, and it helps them understand their problem better, or the solution better, or some of the key high level things that they can be doing to get from A to B, from pain to outcome. Now, the key with a lead magnet is to use this document in a way where they get value, but you understand where they're at in their buying journey. And the way you do that, again, it's quite complicated to do in a short space of time, but the way you do that is you structure the lead magnet around the pain or the symptom that they've got. And depending on how you word it and what you put in the content, it will tell you who's interested in who knows they've got the problem that I can solve. And that's how you use a lead magnet. So it could be a little video, it could be a PDF, it could be a swipe file, it could be an infographic, it could be lots of different things. There's lots of different ways that you can do these. It's not like a one size fits all. It's really about creating something that tells you where they are in the process. So that's the way it works. So any more questions? Anybody like me to go over anything I've shared today? The team have put the links to our other programs there. So on the 20th, we got the LinkedIn specific course. And then we also have the accelerator, which is actually our main course, which is fully inclusive, fully involved. It's 3 months of training, of group calls, of coaching with me to actually not just get another nice course and, oh, I've been on another course and I've got a certificate thing. It's actually, the accelerator is, let's get results now. And that's how it works. So have a look at those. We will share the slides at some point. So if you're not connected to us or you've just found us, this event randomly, do email me, come find me on LinkedIn. No, John, you don't need to do a video every week for the next 10 weeks. It's not about, I mean, I've got 4 lead magnets. Their conversion rate is 50%, and I use them all the time. And I've got them, I'm using 3 lead magnets that I just repeat. So it's not about using lots of different things. It's about using the same things in different ways. So it's not about filling your day with writing stuff. It's about conversations. That's really, so I mean, literally in the first session we do on the accelerator, the first live session, maybe the second live session, I'm actually just going to do a series of steps where I'm going to show people they can get calls and how to do it and how to replace it and do it immediately. Video, actually, I prefer doing written, John. I prefer written lead magnets because they're easier to do. So checklists, for an example, are really key. And remember that the more further they are in the process, the more detail you have to be. At this point, you don't. Joseph, the elite program has coaching. So the elite program is the same course, digital. Win Your Next Client on LinkedIn is live. The elite program has coaching involved as well. So once you've been through the digital course, you actually get a one-to-one where you can get all your questions answered. But how can I implement this? How does it apply to my industry or what have you? So they're the differences, really. So Win Your Next Client is a live course, 2.5 hours of LinkedIn, showing you how to do this on LinkedIn. Obviously not as in depth because obviously there's limitations on time, but it shows you. So the LinkedIn Elite program is the LinkedIn course with some one-to-one coaching, and then the accelerator is a 90-day group training and one-to-one coaching program where you can implement this across all of your social channels, and we implement it as you go. So each week you can go, let's refine it, and I'm involved in that process. I'm on the calls, I do the coaching, and so we get to do it together. So that's the kind of flavor. Any more questions about today's session? And if there's not more questions, I'll wrap up. But I'd love you to come find me on Facebook, come find me on LinkedIn. Do follow our social channels because we do other free training sessions. But the key thing is take away ABR and also understand the journey of where people are at. Because if you're catering to the far end, the right-hand side, the people who are looking for a solution, it's more competitive, more challenging, whereas down the other side, there's a lot more opportunities and you can grow those opportunities. You can create the clients. And remember, conversations before consideration. Conversation before consideration. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again soon, maybe on one of our paid stuff. But other than that, go implement. It's no point learning. It's actually all learning is a waste of time if you don't do anything with it. All learning, even mine. It's a waste of time you being on this if you don't do anything with it. So please go do something with it. Have a try of it. If you get stuck, come find me. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you on LinkedIn, Facebook,